Hey, Cafe Cats. New year, new wallpaper. Who dis? We have had such a busy month this month, so I'm just gonna kind of tell you some key points of all the little things that has happened here in January. The first one being is when this month started, we actually had a friend come over. You might know him from the Discord. Riozen came over and we met him in real life for the first time, and that was pretty awesome. We went out and did some things, mostly stayed in because we're homebodies, but we did go out and eat and see the little wolf dogs. So that was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. It was good. Middle of the month was pretty normal, I would say. It was a lot of work and stuff. It was then, though, that we ended up getting a surprise. A very random surprise. And I will tell you all about that because it is literally like one of the bigger events of this month. So I wake up and I go do our normal routine, which is usually I come down and I do the dog stuff in the morning. So I come down, let him out, and I feed him. Well, I hear screaming, like cat screaming outside the door, and it turns out that is not one of our cats because we already have two cats. And so I open the door, and there's this tiny little cat just screaming at me to open the door and let her in. I'm like, oh my god. So I come outside, close the door behind me because I'm not gonna let a wild cat in yet. And I'm like, who are you? I don't know who you belong to. You can't come inside. I have two other cats. There's no way they're gonna not attack you the moment you walk in here. And I have a dog. I don't know how he's gonna react to a random cat. And so I record that so I can show Silver that I'm not one crazy, and she doesn't think that I'm lying to her that there's this small what at the time we thought was a kitten just yelling on our porch. And so I come in, I'm like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do because there's a cat that can't let the dog out and he really needs to use the bathroom. And here, this is proof that there's this cat screaming out at the door. And of course, Silver, being a bleeding heart, was like, you need to let the cat in. I'm like, oh, okay, well, grab our cats, put them away because I'm gonna let her in then, okay? And so she gets our cats, rounds them up, puts them away. I put the dog in his crate because, the dog is just, he's curious, so he doesn't worry about, we don't have to worry about him. But we put him in his crate, and I opened the door, and she literally walks inside the house, not like she had no worry whatsoever what was inside this house. We could have had really aggressive animals and she wouldn't have cared. The dog, good thing we have such a good dog. She didn't even care that he was right in front of the door when I opened it the first time. So anyway, she walks in like nothing, starts roaming the house. I'm like, whatever, yeah, not a care in the world. We have other cats. The cat smell everywhere. Nope, not phased. And she's just screaming. And that's how we met our third cat. And I'll tell you a little more about that. So we end up after that kind of keeping her away from our other cats because we didn't know what was wrong with her, if she had any issues or anything. So at that point, we actually ended up, keeping her in our room because it's the only safer option at the moment and at this time too. And so we're like, okay, we're gonna have to take her to the vet because we don't know if she has anything, and so we do. We end up taking her to the vet. She ends up getting a clean bill of health, aside from ear mites and roundworms, which we figured that would probably be the case, but it is what it is. They gave us some medicine. We picked up some topical medicine for the mites, and she has been good since then. Right now we're trying to integrate her into the family, which is going slow, but it's going. Right at this moment, Grim and her are doing really well. they have done the whole sniffing, touching noses thing, and hissing only happens very rarely with both of them. Graham not so much. He's more of a like, oh, you hissed at me, I'm gonna leave you alone, and he actually leaves her alone. Hammy Valkyrie is a different story. She has been really territorial, which I'm not surprised because she did this when we got Grim. But she's very like, this is my space, I don't want you around. And she tried bapping her once, a few days ago now. But after those couple days have passed, they have actually touched noses and gotten close, but they still kind of like hiss at each other pretty badly, and we can't be like sure or safe to keep them in the room. She has been able to come out in and out of the room unsupervised, though we do supervise them pretty much the whole time. I just mean as in like we're able to just let her out on our terms because she has figured out how to jump over the gate is what I'm saying when I say unsupervised. Yeah, but she comes out now. She plays with, when we do play before dinner, she comes and she plays with them. She just kind of keeps her distance a bit. But they all play, which is awesome. They all play in the same room, and she's kind of gone downstairs by herself, which is cool too because, she has to figure out that the dog lives kind of pretty much on the first floor while the cats come and go all over the place. He just sticks down here where his crate is because he's an anxiety dog. But I'm pretty sure we told you before. He likes to stay in his space, so we don't push him or anything, and he comes up when he wants to. But she has come down, up and down the stairs, not really roam too much by herself. But yeah, she's doing really well. And so Silver is pretty happy with that because she didn't want her to like die outside, because at the time it was even colder now then than it is now. Right now we're hitting about 30 degrees ish, I would say, every night. Sometimes a little less, but at the time it was like we were hitting 15 degrees, and probably a little bit less than that. And it was raining a lot too, which makes it even colder. She was freezing when we first got her inside the house. But yeah. And so I guess now that I've told you the backstory of the babe, I should probably reveal her name. Shall we?
Alright, drum roll. And her name is Titania. Alright, so she has a small little backstory about her name, and Silver wanted me to tell you properly how that went. So the day before she ended up at the porch. The day before she ended up on our porch, she was a hot mess. And by hot mess, I mean like she was emotional beyond belief because she looked at Grim, who is a massive little beast now compared to what he was before. He was a tiny little kitten when we got him. He was 10 weeks old. And so she's crying. She's looking at him. She's like, "Where did my kitten go? Where did my kitten go, Grim?" Right? And this little bastard, we were pretty sure because we've always said that he was our Silver's magic cat. So she asked him this very specific question. Little did I know that he was gonna magic a cat on our porch the next day. So that's how we were like, oh, this has to be the reason, because he must have asked some fairies to be like, hey, can you do me a favor? I need a cat. I don't care how it happens, but Mom needs a little tiny cat. So then, bam, Titania was right there on the porch, screaming her little head off, like, "Hello, open the door, I'm here." So that's pretty much how that name came to be. We're like, okay, well, the fairies brought Titania here, so she ended up being named Titania, and that's the story of how she got her name. And it's pretty silly, but that's the story we're sticking to because it only makes sense because it literally just one day question, next day magic cat. Makes no sense, but that's usually how it rolls here in this house. That it just magic happens all the time. But yeah, that's the story and that's her name. So I'm gonna end it here. And I hope you guys enjoy the wallpaper this month. Thank you guys. I would like to give a shout out to my patrons, and I apologize ahead of time if I butcher your names. Blazy, Blisskit, Dallypup, Esquilador, Jesse, Luxy Shadowcast, Madame, Marsha Twilight, Riozin, Savannah Sage, Tef Forbidden, Tenerbis, Unicorn, Vi, and a big thank you to Dakota Vega.